to Inbalance Health Coaches. My name is Gina. I am a health and wellness coach, and you have entered into my kitchen here. So welcome. This is where we love to prepare, we love to cook, we love to share here in the kitchen, and this is where my prescription pharmacy is. So we love to cook a lot of medicinal healing foods here that help heal the gut, that support our overall health and well-being, that even help dissipate sugar cravings. And I wanted to talk to you today about sugar cravings, and we all struggle with them. And I myself used to be a sugar addict into my 30s. When I had my last child, who is now 20, I struggled with sugar. Mom and dad never told me, watch your sugar. They used to just feed me sugar. And, I grew up craving more and more sugar the more I had it. And what I grew up with was also anxiety and anxiousness. And I didn't know any better. I didn't know that it was coming from food on my plate. And I never connected the dots until now. Now I know better. And I can tell you from experience that the anxiety that I had each and every day truly came from sugar on my plate. Sugar is known to be an addictive substance. It is actually found to be 8 times stronger than cocaine and heroin. So believe me, if you try to break the sugar addiction, it can be tough. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. And so I wanted to talk to you about a few ways to dissipate your cravings and help with those sugar addiction habits that you might be dealing with. So one of them would be to add more water to your diet. Drinking half your body weight in ounces is really important. Our bodies are most of the time dehydrated and we don't even know it. And when we are dehydrated, what happens is your sugar starts to spike and drop and spike and drop. And you end up with mood swings and you end up with cravings. So what we like to do is kind of balance out your metabolism so that you have a nice, even, slow release of sugar throughout the day, and you don't have the insulin spike sugar that creates more cravings and more bad habits. And then you end up feeling guilty and self-sabotaging, as we know how that goes. So by drinking more water and keeping your body more hydrated, not only do you have more clarity and you have more energy and you're not feeling like you're crashing in the middle of the day, you will see that it helps with the cravings. So number 2 would be add more fiber to your plate. By adding more fiber to your plate, you're giving your body nutrients and phytonutrients, which are very fulfilling and satisfying to the body. Also great for digestion. Your body digests fiber so easily. It's great for your bowel movements. So I like to make a smoothie, which I just finished. And I had in this smoothie kale. I had some spinach in here, some flaxseed meal, and I've also put in a good source of a healthy fat, which we'll talk about in a minute. So fiber is very satisfying to your body, and the more fiber you give your body, the more the cravings will dissipate, okay? So number 2 would be a good source of protein. Up your sources of protein. Put the bag of chips away. Put the Nutri-Grain bar away, or things that maybe you're grabbing in a bag, or something that's refined, where you're going to find all that bad sugar is in a box. So pull out some protein, such as eggs, such as nuts or nut butters. You can have a handful of almonds or walnuts or pumpkin seeds with a banana, or an apple with some sprinkled cinnamon, or a pear. I like to do that at snack time. So adding a good, healthy protein is very, very important. Pasture-raised meat is a good source of protein. So you have pasture-raised meat and you have factory farming meat. The reason I would highly suggest the pasture-raised meat, and never mind organic, because sometimes that doesn't always matter. Pasture-raised meat, the animal is raised humanely. They are feeding off the healthy omega pastures, and they feel great. They're alive. These animals are vibrant. And in return, we feel alive and vibrant because we're not being fed grains. Your factory farming raised animals are inhumanely raised. They are beaten, slaughtered, and they're sad and depressed. They want to be out roaming the pastures. When we ingest those kinds of meat, we feel sad. Our bellies feel sad. They feel sick. We feel responsive to those types of food, and we may end up bloated or feeling lethargic. Maybe we end up running to the bathroom because we've ingested some bad meat. So factory farming meat, those animals are also fed grains, which can cause a lot of inflammatory for us. So I always say go with the pasture meat. It's a few more dollars, but you know what? It's preventative medicine, and it's much better for you, and you feel the difference. So even eggs, pasture eggs are so much better for you than the grain-fed hens. And how do you know the eggs are pasture? Is it'll tell you on the label, pasture raised, as opposed to free range or cage free, which means the animals are let out of their pens for a certain amount of time in a small confined area. They're still giving them arsenic to keep them calm. They're still feeding them grains, and then they go right back into their small confined spaces versus the pasture raised hens. So we want to ingest animals that are happy, feeding off the healthy omega pastures, and who aren't beaten, slaughtered, and abused and inhumanely raised. They're sad. And again, that's a reflection of the way we feel. Healthy, supportive fat on each and every plate. So you should be, look at your breakfast, look at your lunch, look at your dinner. Make sure you have a good source of fiber, you have that good source of protein, but you also have a good source of fat on your plate, such as coconut oil. Coconut oil is great for gut health. It's antibacterial, it's antifungal. So it helps heal and restore and replenish your gut. Good source of fat also would be extra virgin olive oil, of course. You have Kalamata olives are a good source of fat. You have nuts and seeds that are good sources of fat. I wanted to share with you this raw coconut butter. And what I do with this raw coconut butter is when I am roasting vegetables or I am steaming vegetables on the stove, or even in my oatmeal, I love to put in a tablespoon of this raw coconut butter. It's a great fat, and it almost tastes like you're giving yourself a sweet treat reward. Although it's sugar-free, if you try it, you'll see what I mean. It's very satisfying. So these things are all very filling and satisfying to your bellies, and you don't feel like you're in the kitchen every so many hours, going into a bag, going into a box, grabbing a bar. I think eating 6 small meals consistently each day stabilizes your metabolism, stops the blood sugar spike, and when you do that, the cravings seem to dissipate. So I hope you found these tips very helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and you can certainly visit my website at imbalancehealthcoaches.com. Have a great day.